In the most foundational way, emotions are energy. So when we're not processing, expressing, and releasing our emotions, they get stored in our bodies. And many of us live with a lifetime of unprocessed emotions in our bodies, which shows up as feeling stuck, feeling heavy and lethargic, feeling really blocked in different areas in our lives. Sometimes it can show up as disease and physical discomfort in different places in our body. So part of my life's work is to help people learn how to manage and process their emotions. And this is something that I've been working with myself actively for over 5 years. It has completely transformed my life. Today I want to talk about anger. And anger is an emotion that gets a pretty bad reputation. We really look at anger as something that's kind of uncomfortable to be with. It's very uncomfortable for us to witness other people's anger. Many people have so much unprocessed anger that it just explodes in rage, and that rage can be very harmful and hurtful. So the goal is to be able to understand and utilize our emotions in a way that does not hurt or harm anybody else, and also does not hurt and harm ourselves. Anger is a very energetic emotion. It is pretty forceful once it builds. So you might experience it as frustration, anger, and also rage. Sometimes they build. For some of us, the rage just kind of opens up. And it's really important to have some tools to learn how to work with your anger, and also learn how to use your anger as information so that you can learn about yourself and make some changes in your life. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, and then give you some tools at the end so that you can start to learn how to process your anger. One of the big things that anger can teach us is that our boundaries are being crossed. So if you're expressing, your needs or your desires, and somebody isn't really respecting that, kind of is doing what they want to do anyway, kind of ignores what you're saying, if you're feeling unheard, anger usually will show you, hey, something is wrong in this dynamic here. There's something that I need to look at. I'm feeling very angry about this. And oftentimes we're not fully clear on what the anger is pointing to, and we think it's about a lot of other things than it really is. So one of the things I would suggest is to always bring it back to yourself. What does this mean about me? We often will project our anger onto other people. So you really want to always kind of reclaim that for yourself. What is it that this anger is telling me about myself? Am I not speaking up? Am I not setting a firm enough boundary here? Anger can often show up for many of us around injustice, and that's a huge sign that our souls, there's our warning system deep within us is saying, no, this is wrong. This feels very wrong. And again, that's another area for you to pay very close attention to. And that's also an area where many people can begin to feel disempowered. And so you're going to want to really learn how to work with that anger in a way to move the energy so that it doesn't sink you into depression. One of the things that my teacher, David Elliott, likes to remind me about anger is that when you mix a little love with it, it's passion. So anger has a pretty bad reputation, but when you think about being a passionate person, I am a passionate person. My passion comes through because I embody anger. If I didn't feel any anger, if I didn't know how to utilize that energy, I wouldn't be a very passionate person. So some of the tools that I use to process my anger and help other people process their anger. The first tool is breath work. Breath work is an incredibly powerful meditation for activating the energy in your body and getting in touch with your emotions. So I do have a free guided breathwork meditation that I created to get you introduced to this work, and you can find that in the link below. One of the other things that you can do is yell. And this is one of my favorite things to do for connecting to and letting that anger kind of come up and out. And you can do that during a breathwork session. I usually give a couple opportunities depending on what somebody's going through during a session, but I often give opportunities for people to yell and move some of that energy. If you are feeling really stuck or you're feeling your anger's right under the surface, yelling can be really powerful. And also if you're just feeling it's coming right up, just let out a big yell. One of the things that you can do if you have neighbors is just put a pillow over your mouth and scream into the pillow. If you're somewhere where you live, you know, maybe in the mountains somewhere or in the desert, you can go outside and scream at the top of your lungs if you feel like, you know, nobody's gonna come rushing and you feel comfortable doing that. That can be incredibly liberating. Because anger is such an energetic emotion, you can use it to benefit you. So when you're feeling angry, you can go for a run, you can go lift some weights, you can do something to move your body. I also sometimes will clean my house and start scrubbing the tub, scrubbing the tiles, really pushing that anger out through my body. You can also punch a pillow, punch a mattress. If you have access to, you know, a boxing place where you can use a punching bag, that can also be really helpful. And what you might notice as you start to let your anger come through you is that you have a lot of sadness underneath. And this is true for most of us. We typically have tons and tons of sadness layered underneath the emotion of anger. If you are way more in touch with your sadness than you are with your anger, then you might actually need to do some things to kind of get in touch with your anger because the sadness feels so present. It's really important to always be safe and make sure that your anger is not being thrown on anyone else. And that's often what we see. You know, people are so disconnected from their anger. We don't really know how to process it in a way that's healthy. And so then we end up screaming at somebody. Some people end up getting violent and abusive. And it's never, ever okay. That is never part of processing your anger. Your anger is yours. It's for you to take responsibility for. And you can be very angry because somebody has violated you or somebody has abused you. The challenging thing there is then taking responsibility for what's happened to you and utilizing that energy to heal yourself. So we can get really stuck in these loops of being very angry at other people for something that they did, which is important. It's a very important process to express and vocalize that anger, and you have every right to be angry at somebody. But we don't ever want to harm or hurt another person with our anger. Anger is an incredibly important emotion. It's a human emotion. We all feel it. Some of us may have repressed it more than others. Some of it may be more connected to it than others. It is not a bad emotion, and we really need to learn how to process and manage our anger in a way that is healthy and safe. So I really hope these tools will help you. I am going to do some more videos on different emotions. The next one coming up will probably be around sadness, and then one around depression. So if you like this video, if it supported you in any way, it would mean a lot to me if you like it. And if you subscribe, you will get notified when the next videos come out. So you can click the link below to get my free guided breathwork meditation and start to connect to your anger, and use any of the tools that I've provided to begin to clear the anger from your body. Thank you for being with me, and I hope to see you next time.